All right, we're back. It's Inside Boxing Live. It is Dan Canobio. It is Chris Algieri. We are powered by PPV.com, and it is a PPV.com fight week. Manny Pacquiao is back in the ring against Mario Barrios. Believe it or not, I can't believe it, but believe it because it's happening. Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora, the rematch. Pitbull Cruz versus Angel Ferrero, which is on the short list of fights of the year for 2025. I'll be on the broadcast giving you my betting picks. Chris will be everywhere doing interviews. I heard maybe Ariel Helwani's show. He might be joining, giving Ariel Helwani an unnecessary pop. He doesn't need that. But it's all about ppv.com this week. So stream it to your phone, stream it to your laptop, stream it to your big screen TV. Stream it with us. We'll be in the live interactive chat. We'll be getting content all week. I'll be giving away pay-per-views all week and give away one right now. Comment below on this YouTube podcast your favorite Manny Pacquiao win, and I will choose one person at random for our first ppv.com giveaway for this, which should be a very, very fun week out in Las Vegas where Chris is right now. The vibes. Lay it down for us. How is it in Las Vegas?
Well, I just got in a couple hours ago. It is Sunday. It's super early in fight week. I don't even think fighters are here yet, so not much of a vibe just yet, although I am off the beaten path a bit. I did walk around. It is 1,000 degrees out here because we are in the heat of the summer in Las Vegas in the desert. But yeah, not a whole lot going on just yet, but that's to be expected. It's Sunday. It's going to ramp up. Come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to be all over. Tomorrow, as you mentioned, Ariel Helwani, I'm going to be on his show. Our guy, BC, Brian Campbell, Morning Combat. I'm going to be there as well. I'm going to be all over, dude. This week is my schedule is – this is worse than one of my fight weeks. I'm busier than when I was fighting on fight week. But it's a good thing. We're going to bring guys a ridiculous amount of content.
PPV.com ambassador, Chris Algieri.
Yeah. Notice the hat. That's a new hat.
Good for you, man. It's an awesome place to work. And give my regards to Ariel. I was with him all week in New York for the Taylor Serrano fight, which we will recap, as well as a great fight week, or great fight night, I should say, in Queens, right down the street from where I live. The Ring 3 card was epic, so we will break all those fights down. But yes, I will be heading out to Vegas on Tuesday night, getting you guys a ton of content. So we have this show this week on Monday. We're going to do a live show Thursday, sometime in the afternoon, and do another live Friday like we always do on site right after the weigh-in to get those weigh-in vibes. See how Pacquiao looks on the scale.
We got a steak review on Thursday night from our Barry's Prime with our friends over there. So that's happening as well. Can't forget that.
Oh God, I forgot about that. I mean, how can we forget Barry's Prime?
Thursday night.
Thursday night. A bunch of media people with PPV.com's taking a bunch of media people out to Barry's Prime. A lot of content there, a ton of content. We're going to have so much content. We may actually do that vlog. That vlog, it always seems to elude us.
It eludes us because we're so busy, man. We're so busy. We also don't travel together, so it's like if we were like arm in arm, like in our first class seats with our feet up, like being able to film it, I think it'd be a lot easier. But since we always end up coming in different directions. I'm coming from Fresno, California. We had fights last night on Pro Box. They were actually really good. I actually had to catch the Shakur fight earlier today, even though I saw the highlights last night. I did watch the Berlanga fight live, but we're going to get into all that. So let's not jump the gun.
No, let's jump the gun. Let's get right into it. Hamzah Sheeraz.
Jump the gun. Oh, are we going to go in order? What are we going to do? We're going to go right to ring 3? Are we going to talk about the ladies first?
No, I'm going to go right with the biggest win of the weekend. That's Sheeraz. I'm going to start right at the top. Hamzah Sheeraz stops Edgar Berlanga in the 5th round. First time the Berlanga has been stopped. It's the 15th stoppage for Sheeraz in his last 16 fights. It was devastating. It was brutal. It wasn't like it matriculated. It just literally came out of nowhere towards the end of that 4th round. Berlanga somehow gets to his feet, answers the bell. The referee kind of gave him a really long time to survive that 4th round. Comes back out for the 5th, no legs, and just gets walloped in his hometown. A star-making performance for Sheeraz, who's now a player at 168. Berlanga's got to go back to the drawing board. A lot of questions that I'm sure he's having today, but a stunning and just statement win by Sheeraz.
Yeah, so we're in the shuttle on the way back from our event in Fresno at the Save Mart Center, and it's myself, it's Jimmy Smith, it's Juan Marquez, and it's Puello. And I got my phone like this. We're all watching it in the back, and we're going through it. And, they're all chatting, whatever. And I'm watching. First round, not a whole lot happened. I actually thought Sheeraz looked a little tentative. He looked, he's keeping his distance. First of all, even before that, he's gigantic, dude. I don't know how he ever made 160. He looks so big at 68. And
did you hear Lampley talking about his feet over and over?
No, I didn't. I couldn't really hear it that well. I haven't watched it back. I was just watching it live. What was he saying about his feet?
Lampley was enamored by the size of his feet.
Well, the guy's built like a basketball player. He's gigantic. I mean, I never noticed his feet. I don't really, I'm not really looking at the guy's feet. But I said he looked like a praying mantis out there. He's just like so long, and he knows his distance really well. And I've seen that at 160. I wanted to see how his body was going to fill into 168. I thought he looked great. He looked big. He looked strong, obviously. First round, a little tentative. Second round, I started seeing him get into his vibe a little bit. Berlanga was throwing those big shots like he has. The second round was pretty competitive. But round 3, the guys are talking, and I'm watching, and I saw Hamzah land a good uppercut. I believe the first one was his rear hand, the right uppercut. And I was like, ooh, that was a nasty shot. Then towards the end of the round, he lands a left uppercut. And I noticed that Berlanga didn't like it. And I go, hey, guys, Sheeraz just landed really good uppercut that Berlanga didn't like. Juan Manuel Marquez go, I told you. I talked to Berlanga. I told him, do not take this guy for granted. He's very, very good fighter. He kept saying over and over, Sheeraz is a very good fighter. Sheeraz is a very good fighter. And he had been telling us that all week. And then round 4 comes out, and Sheeraz just went to work, dude. Went to work. Started beating Berlanga up, drops him twice. They probably should have stopped in the corner. Berlanga looked like he had nothing left at the end of the 4th round. Came out and got stopped in the 5th, like in the first 30 seconds. And first thing Marquez says, he goes, I told you. He goes, I told you. He's like, I told you Sheeraz is a very good fighter. Like, we know. But wow, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Berlanga actually was out jabbing Sheeraz. Sheeraz is the longer, taller fighter. And Berlanga wasn't looking awful. He wasn't looking terrible from the first 3 or 4 rounds. I thought he was actually maybe might have been, winning the first 2. He was landing some good shots. He's landing some power shots. Sheeraz, you're right, was a little tentative. Maybe the moment was getting to him just a little bit. A lot of pressure on him. He said he can't believe that these people put him in this fight. Not saying that he didn't feel like he belonged, but towards the lines of, wow, like I'm back in a big spot and my career is probably on the line right here, especially if they're dangling a Canelo fight. But yeah, that all led up to it. But yeah, I mean, Sheeraz just found the range. And when this guy can find the range, and when he's fully healthy, not with a hand injury, like he said he had in his last fight.
Not killing himself to make weight.
Boiling down to 160. He's definitely looked a lot better at 168. I mean, this was virtuoso. I mean, you left no doubt. And
his power looked legit. Look legit,
bro.
He wasn't like loading up either. The left hooks that first really bothered Berlanga were not like big sweeping shots. They were very short. They were tight. They were right around the glove. I saw a nice scene where Berlanga actually had his hand up and Sheeraz went around it with the left hook. That was when he landed that 3-2 right at the end. That really stung Berlanga. And it was just like, yeah, Berlanga didn't fight badly. He had his hands in the right position. He just had somebody that was super sharp that night and obviously is in the right weight class now. Listen, I've been talking about how good Sheeraz is for a long time. The Adames fight left you like thinking like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I spoke too soon. But when you hear about the hand injury, when you hear about that he was probably killing himself to make the weight, I don't know, dude. He's a real player at 68 now.
Oh my God, the division's loaded. We'll get to that in a second. Like there are so many names and there are so many juicy matchups, and he's so very exciting. He's like the new guy in the division. He's got very juicy, and he's got great personality, and he's marketable, and he's just right in the mix. Like
Classy
we saw a couple guys like Plant and Charlo and Munguia, kind of like mainstays of 168 or mainstays of boxing for the last couple of years. Kind of like Plant is coming off of a loss. Charlo we don't know what he's still a question mark. And Munguia has the failed PED test. In steps guys like Sheeraz, Christian Mobili, Resendez, Bruno Saras, Iglesias, Diego Pacheco. So this is a very vibrant, very healthy division. And Sheeraz is now right in the mix of it, right in the middle of it, because he is backed by Turkey in a very big way. Turkey was talking about, I want Canelo to fight this guy, which, doesn't seem that crazy as of now. But it could be something down the line. But yeah, this is what fight we talked about in the lead up for a while. It's like, how good is Sheeraz? Or was that fight with Adames, an anomaly? Was it because of the hand?
Yeah, was that a litmus
weight?
test or was that an anomaly? That was really the question. I think I got my answer. I think that was an anomaly. I'm blaming the weight. I'm blaming the hand. And also, guys, I know I get a lot of pushback online from this. Adames is very good. People want to hate me for saying Adames is a good fighter. I guys text me like, I don't think Adames is that good. Yes, he is. He's very good. He actually fought a really good fight against Sheeraz that fight. I thought he won that fight. It was a draw. But yeah, I'm looking at this more as an anomaly than that fight being a litmus test. I think Sheeraz is for real.
Well, anything like he wiped away any haters. There can be haters out there no matter what, but he wiped away a lot of the talk. He even said, I went on social media. I really took the brunt of it after that Adames fight and fueled me, made me a better fighter, where it could make guys kind of shell up and make them jaded and make them, kind of upset. He used it the opposite way and was able to use it as fuel to get this win. As for Berlanga, talked a lot of trash heading into this fight, called himself the king of New York, said you would need a truck to hit my chin to knock me out. If you are a Edgar Berlanga hater, you slept well last night and you are riding high. I don't exactly believe in all of that, but
the memes are flying, buddy. The memes are flying.
Dude, I opened up TikTok. There's already an edit out there that I posted on Twitter that's crazy, and it's him just him saying that this be said to Sheeraz at the face-to-face. You need a truck to knock me out, and then they cut to all the knockout punches. That's what Berlanga is. He talks a lot of trash.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that he was, manufactured to get to this point, has great management to go from Canelo to another main event in a really big card in New York City, the 16 straight knockouts and all that, the hype that was behind that. Once he got in the ring with better opposition, the power went down, the non-boxing abilities, all of that. You saw that come out on Saturday night, even though he was boxing pretty well early on. I just don't know where we go from here for Berlanga. I don't think he's main event status anymore. I don't think he's going to take a back seat and try to be on undercards. He's very much in love with the celebrity life and loves being Fat Joe and loves having people in his phone and loves being living that life. But dude, you can't live that life if you're not an elite fighter or even a top contender. Because I don't feel like he's a top contender anymore.
Not in this weight class. That's the issue. And listen, you got to build yourself back up. When you take some,
where's he going to go? 175. His killer's there.
No, I think 68 is where he needs to be. Didn't look like he struggled to make the weight this time. He fought, a couple months ago, and he had the long layoff after the Canelo fight. He did his little Canelo tour. His post fight, even though he lost, he did like a post fight like victory lap.
Well, he's never going to live that time
I get it. You're spending that money. I get it, but he came back. He had trouble making the weight the first time, but this time it looked like he made the weight all right. But the problem is the weight class. He definitely he's gonna have to rebuild. He's gonna need to take the long road back. He's still young, so there is that. But to your point, personality-wise, does he want to do that? Because listen, I had to do it too. I took my loss to Pacquiao, and it was a bad loss. But I got respect because I made the distance, kind of like how Berlanga did. And then he came back with like an easy fight. But I came back to Amir Khan, and then I went 0-2, and I took 2 losses. I had to go back. I had to fight an Eric Bonet on an undercard. That happens. You take a step back, and then you can get back into a big fight. So I do think he needs a little bit of rebuilding time. He needs a fight that's going to be a little rebuild, even though his last fight was that as well. But after a bad loss like that, a bad knockout, he needs some time off, and then he needs to come back and rebuild. Maybe he comes back in a catch weight, then he gets back into another fight at 168, then he looks for a big fight. But I think we're not going to really see him in a big fight. I would suggest for like another year.
He is 28 years old, not exactly old, not exactly young. I still think there is a market for him to fight a Caleb Plant. Guys coming off of losses. Yeah, both guys coming off a loss. Yeah. They have bad blood. They can get themselves back into the mix. It's not as big as it once was, of course, in boxing. It's what happens all the time. And then when the fights are hot, you don't get them. But I still think he's a name, Berlanga, and I still think he invokes a lot of feelings from fans, good or bad. And it's not done yet. It's just maybe changing the expectations for him. Like a world champion, maybe not. Contender, maybe, who knows? Like in big fights, like a name. There's a lot of money out there in the sport currently. He is a name. Someone like Charlo, someone like Plant. I do believe what you said though. Build yourself back up. Fight someone like you did in that fight in Orlando, a little bit better than that. But then work your way up. Take some time off. Number one, work your way back up, and then find like a name that's out there that's also in a similar position as you. And that could be a Caleb Plant. It's still a big fight. You put that on like I don't know if it headlines a pay-per-view. I don't know if it headlines a big card, but it could be part of a big card these days when you're having these crazy stacked cards. Now we go ahead over to Sheeraz, what's next for him? Canelo Alvarez has been dangled for Hamzah Sheeraz for a while. Canelo has to beat Terrence Crawford, which is not an easy task, and there's a lot of boxing math going on now.
Wait, does he have to beat Terrence Crawford though? Does he have to beat Terrence Crawford? I think Sheeraz gets him either way. I don't think Canelo has to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I haven't thought about a world where Canelo loses, what that means for his career. I think it means automatic rematch with Crawford, and then we're looking at May of 2026 for that, and then we're looking at maybe September for a potential fight for Canelo to fight one of these other names that I know Turkey wants and that he signed up for this 4-fight deal. I think it's contingent on Canelo winning. We can just say that. I don't think it has to, but just if it would make the fight big. If Canelo outpoints Crawford, he has to fight somebody. He signed a 4-fight deal, so right. Sheeraz is on that short list. I mean, he's in his weight class.
I think it's going to be Chris Eubank Jr., Hamzah Sheeraz, or Mbili. Those are for me. That's the short list for Canelo if he gets past Crawford with a win.
I think Sheeraz should fight Christian Mbili. We can have ourselves a real a box off to get Canelo.
Love that fight.
Because Mbili is definitely deserving. It's a kind of a thin weight class at the top, and he's been at the top for a while. Sheeraz his stock couldn't be any higher. Sheeraz versus Mbili. The winner of that really, really is in a position to fight Canelo then.
Do that in November, right? Because I think September's too soon. Even it'd be ideal world you put that on the undercard, right? But I think that's too soon. But you put Hamzah Sheeraz and Mbili in November, and then look for the Canelo fight in the new year. And again, this is all contingent on Canelo winning the Crawford fight. I think the winner, I love that. Box off with two young, hungry guys, both undefeated, both really look really good lately, both coming off really dominant KOs against really tough guys. I love it. I like when you got that matchmaker hat on, Dan.
I mean, it would make sense. Like Sheeraz he's not guaranteed Canelo. I don't think it's right for him to. I don't think it's smart for him to just wait. It's not like he has a title. It's not like that situation that Caleb Plant was in a few years back when he had the IBF title. Canelo really wanted to. Yeah, he can't do that. So I think he should keep that stock going. I would favor him against Mbili slightly. I think that's a very, very 50-50 type of fight. Tough fight. But Sheeraz, I'm using a little bit of recency bias. So he looks so damn good in there. There's also Diego Pacheco.
Yeah, but Mbili looks so damn good too, and that was 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, that was a really destructive performance from Mbili that last fight. And that's against a guy who's normally very tough.
Right. And there's also this boxing math that's going on right now. It's like Canelo couldn't stop Berlanga. He only knocked him down, but Sheeraz destroyed him. Therefore, Sheeraz destroys Canelo. Which I'm not exactly ready to say that. Like Canelo, yes, is on the back nine of his career. He's not stopping guys, but the guy's never even been. He's been wobbled a few times in his career, never been stopped. I'm not ready to say he gets waxed by anybody, including Hamzah Sheeraz.
No, and I get into fights with Puello all the time because he's like, David Benavidez would have ran through Canelo. I'm like, nobody's running through Canelo. I know David Benavidez is awesome. I know he throws a ton of punches. I know he's way younger, whatever. But nobody's running through this guy. Like he's still a very, very top guy. And when we're talking about in terms of, the boxing math of the stoppages, you can't go with that because of Canelo's age. He drops everyone. So the power's still there. The finish is, he's not really been a one-punch guy at 68. He was getting stoppages when he was being a little more intense on these guys, like the Caleb Plant fight, like the Saunders fight, where he was like pressure. He doesn't have that same pressure anymore. He's still got that pop though. Still gets respect. He domesticates guys, and he's willing to be like, okay, I'll go 12. It's fine. I don't need to go out there and take risks and get hit too much. So the boxing math doesn't add up to me for this because youth prevails.
Let's move over to Shakur Stevenson. Had a masterful performance. He outpoints William Zepeda. He holds his ground. He fights off the ropes. He lands 56% of his power shots, 52% of his total shots, 46% jabs, and he pulls away late. 8-4, 9-3 type of fight on my scorecard. Zepeda did have some moments early on, staggered Shakur, which looked like he was a little bit off balance, but it was a really exciting fight. Props to Shakur Stevenson, who answered a lot of criticism with this type of performance, stood and traded his best win of his young career, and really cements himself now as a top 10 pound for pound guy.
All right, can we put the bed that this guy's a runner, for Christ's sake? The guy doesn't run. All right, he never ran, doesn't run. He didn't run. He stood his ground against a guy who throws a million punches.
Well, he
stayed
did
in the pocket.
Run a little bit. Not in this fight.
No. I mean, the De Los Santos fight. But listen, De Los Santos was a really tough, nasty counterpuncher. Very dangerous guy. He did a lot of staring in that fight as well. That was both sides. It wasn't just Shakur. But I thought Shakur did a good job of disarming someone who's a very dangerous puncher in that fight. So I didn't knock that fight either. Yes, was it boring? Sure. But it was one of those get the win, look good later. This was a tailor-made fight. I've been saying that from the beginning. Didn't think this was going to be a close fight. I gave Zepeda 2 rounds. I didn't think it was close at all. Yes, were there moments for him? Sure. But listen, if you really know what you're looking at, he wasn't landing shit. I mean, so Shakur was in there catching, shooting, boom, 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 elbows, boom, boom. And honestly, for the first time, I kind of thought this in the Tevin Farmer fights. Zepeda can't punch. He doesn't look like he's got heavy hands. He doesn't look explosive. And you really saw that in this fight. And I've been saying it for a while. Shakur is not a small 35-pounder. He's big and he's strong. Yes, he's not a big puncher. He's not a knockout guy. Doesn't matter. He's a physically strong guy for 135, and you saw that in that fight. The punches that were coming at him, the way he caught them. If you're not physically strong, I always think about Winky Wright. Winky Wright was not a puncher. He was a good jabber, physically strong. To be able to stand there and take those shots on the arms the way he does, you have to be strong. Yeah, and and Shakur has that too. You know, he's obviously slicker than Winky in terms of his rolling and sliding and whatever, but he catches a lot of stuff on his gloves and his elbows and his shoulders. If he wasn't a strong guy, that would break him down. Those punches that Zepeda was landing would have broke him down. They didn't. He got stronger as the fight went on, actually. So let's get off this. Shakur Stevenson is a runner because he had a guy who throws a million punches, and he stood right in front of him and stayed on the ropes with him and was still out-punching him.
Yeah, after the fight, Shakur said, I took more punishment than I wanted to because I chose to. So he said he probably could have done this earlier on in his career and made for some more exciting fights, but he didn't have to. For this fight, I feel like he had to. I felt like the criticism, I felt like the organizers of this event turned it into a whole narrative where we don't want this guy to run. Did they force him into that type of fight? Not exactly, because William Zepeda was tailor-made.
He still chose, yeah. Mm-hmm.
William Zepeda was tailor-made for Shakur Stevenson and brought out the best in him. He has never faced a guy like Zepeda, who came in averaging 94 punches thrown around, landing 31. In this fight, he threw 82 and landed 23. So it wasn't like Zepeda was awful. He still had a great work rate. 80. I was expecting a way lower number than 82 punches. Here's the thing, though. Like the commentators, the broadcast was very pro Zepeda, and they were giving him a lot of credit for simply letting his hands go. Like Shakur chose to stay on the ropes, which I thought it made the fight even more difficult than it had to be. He wasn't getting hit with anything on the ropes, but the visual was not good. Like him just sitting there for 20 seconds at a time while Zepeda is just working but not really landing anything. I mean, it's not a good visual for the judges. It's not a good visual for the fans. It's not a good visual for your critics out there. But Shakur was able to, he said he felt comfortable on the ropes. And, Ward told him not to fight on the ropes. Crawford told him not to fight on the ropes. But there were many times early on in this fight where he was just laying on the ropes and it allowed Zepeda to maybe win a round or 2 or 3 early on. I thought the broadcast was very pro Zepeda, giving him a lot of credit for simply, like, we saw Stevenson hit with shots that we haven't seen in years. Like, I think there was one round where Zepeda landed 27 punches, which is a high. Zepeda landed the most punches ever on Shakur Stevenson in his entire career. So it's almost like he did better than we thought. Like, we saw an invincible defensive fighter have a few moments where he was actually getting hit or actually looked like he was in a fight. So therefore, let's give Zepeda more rounds, or let's give Zepeda at least give off the impression that he's in this fight. I did not think that was the case. I thought maybe a few rounds early on, 8-4, I would say, like 9-3, and you only gave him 2 rounds there. Wasn't landing much of anything. He only landed 30%, or not even.
He wasn't
27%.
effective. I don't care even if he was landing. He wasn't effective. The shots that Shakur was landing,
Shakur
they were
was
effective. They were eye-catching, and they were hard. I'm watching this fight. I'm like, Shakur hits harder than him. Like, he looked like his punches carried more weight.
He said that in the lead-up. He goes, I hit harder.
They were more explosive.
No one wanted to believe him.
You better now. Because what are you watching? I thought the broadcast team, other than Jim Lampley, dropped the ball on that. I agree. They were giving Zepeda way too much credit for the non-work that he was doing. Yeah, it was work. It was workmanlike. It was not effective. Shakur was landing the much more effective eye-catching shots. He was in control of the space. It was in round 2. Shakur got hit with something, and he smiled, and he was like, "Oh, this guy can't hurt me." It was round 2. I saw it. I was like, "Oh, he's going to stay in the pocket now. He knows this guy can't hurt him. If you can't hurt me in round 2, you can't hurt me at all." And that's what Shakur's mentality was. And for the rest of the fight, he was just like, "I can stay in the pocket with this dude. I can catch and shoot. I can catch these shots on the glove." Dan, from a fighter's perspective, I fought guys you cannot stand and block because they hit so damn hard. Zepeda's not that guy. So Shakur, he felt that in his glove, and he was like, "Oh, I can stay right here. I can stay in the pocket." So when you don't have a keen eye on what you're looking at, you might look at that fight and say, "Oh, Zepeda's doing a lot of good work. This is a really competitive fight. This might be close." It is not close. There was no point in that fight where I was like, "It was a close fight." I didn't think it was even competitive. And the judges actually did a good job. The judges gave him what, 2 rounds, 3 rounds?
I thought it was very wide. Judges had it how you saw it.
Super wide.
118, 110, 119.
Yeah, they were paying attention. they saw what was going on. They were actually paying attention to the nuances of the sport, and you can see how Shakur was able to catch all those shots. It was a lot of busy work from Zepeda, but it was very ineffective.
But you know what I mean? Like, to the naked eye, to like the untrained eye. I wouldn't say casual, but like, Shakur has a perception. Like, that's a big part of the sport, and narratives are a big part of the sport. Zepeda's the pressure fighter. He's the Mexican. He's all action. Shakur's the runner.
He's fighting
defensively
his fight.
minded. Right. So here comes Zepeda coming out, just letting his hands go like we've never seen a Stevenson opponent before. Out of every 10 punches thrown, maybe 2 were landing, because that's what that was his percentage in this fight. And you're right, there was no steam on those shots. Stevenson was landing big shots, and they were moving back Zepeda. They were stopping his rhythm and stopping him dead in his tracks. And I'm seeing a few people checking in like, "Oh, this is the most similar performance of a Mayweather-esque performance from Stevenson." And I kind of have to pump the brakes a tiny bit, because Shakur is fighting like Money Mayweather, which we saw post 30 hand injuries with Mayweather, still 50% of his shots and picking apart his opponents. Pretty Boy Floyd, which like was the age of what Shakur is at right now, probably would have stopped Zepeda. He was an absolute menace inside of that ring. So like that's the only knock I'll put on Stevenson is that like, I would have liked to seen him potentially like sit down a little more in his shots, but he's just not a big puncher. He's a very accurate puncher. And that's going to be fine, and that should win him a lot of fights. That should keep him elite. But I thought the Mayweather stuff was a little premature.
Let me push back a little bit because of the Mayweather comparison. Because Mayweather became Money. How many weight classes was he in at that time? Right,
he started at 130. He was Money by like 47, right?
40. Because 40 is when fights started getting interesting. DeMarcus Corley cracked him. And he had a fight. This reminded me of like that kind of fight where Floyd actually. Well, that was, he was fighting so out of his weight class at that point. So Shakur, he was 26, 30. Now he's 35. He's in his third weight class now. He did it much faster than Floyd in terms of the weight class growth. Because remember at 30, when he ate Jamel Herring alive, like that was a Pretty Boy Floyd performance. I'm going to walk you down, beat you up, stop you. And then when he fought Valdez, super dominant, wasn't running, dropped him, dominated. So, now you got to think at 35, Shakur is entering kind of that Money Mayweather esque, point where he's in his third weight class. He's fighting guys that are, physically strong. They're starting to catch up. But I remember like you look at certain fights in Floyd's. I mentioned the DeMarcus Corley fight. You got touched up in that fight. He got a bloody nose in that fight. Even Emmanuel Augustus got to him, and he wasn't a big puncher either. And he landed more punches, I think, than anyone did up until that point. But Shakur dominated Zepeda way more than Floyd dominated Emmanuel Augustus. And I think that was a 35 as well, right? 35 was Emmanuel Augustus, or was that 40? I think it was 35.
I believe so. I believe it was 35. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's just like I always cringe a little bit when I see the Mayweather, but he had a lot of Mayweather, even from his introductions. Like he was doing the same like things Mayweather did. He was looking up at looking up at the screen and smiling. He was embracing a lot of what Floyd would do inside the ring. And then inside the ring, he got the shoulder roll. He wasn't eating a lot of shots. He was firing that pull counter. I mean, he is like, I think, one of the closest things to Mayweather we have today in boxing. No question. I know it's sacrilege to say that. I hate the comparisons to Floyd. I think they're unnecessary. You don't have to do that. He's his own guy. But they're going to come in this sport because it's all about comparisons, boxing. But really, really, really good stuff from Shakur. I'm very happy for him. I think it's good for the sport that he has a really good performance, and he's a young, vibrant star that we should all gather. He loves the sport. He loves boxing. He's just all about it. That's a great thing. So we're seeing a lot of guys today like that seem like they have one foot out the door and aren't as hungry as Shakur Stevenson. He has an edge. I think that's from being around Crawford and being around guys like Andre Ward. He just wants to be really great. And I want to see what's next. I think the first thing you think of is Shakur versus Tank. Tank has a lot of legal problems right now. He was arrested over the weekend for alleged domestic dispute. So I have no idea what's going on with Tank Davis and his future, especially with Lamont Roach. But if you could put that aside, which you can't, but Shakur versus Tank is still the fight I want to see at 135. And the one thing was like, yes, Zepeda can't punch, like you said, but Tank can. Tank doesn't have the volume of Zepeda, but he has the one-punch stuff. If Tank could corner Shakur, I'd love to see that moment. If Shakur on the ropes with Tank in front of him, that's why we watch.
Yeah, is Tank going to be able to put himself into the position to get Shakur to stand still for long enough for him to unload? The thing about Tank is he's so explosive, but it takes him a while to get to that point. That's why I always say I think Tank is such a good name, because he's heavy artillery. He's got himself into position. Once he's there, watch out. He's going to blow you away. But he's got to get to that position. Can he get Shakur into that position at some point during those 12 rounds and then make good on the real estate exchange? I don't know. That's the question. That's why we want the fight.
I have no idea if we ever get that fight. It seems further and further away.
I don't think
it seems
so.
more far away than ever right now with what's going on in Tank's life. I feel uncomfortable even like thinking about it. I know it could be a little dramatic to some out there, but I mean, the guy's got.
It's your boy, dude. You're your boy. You feel for him. You feel for Tank. It's your guy.
If this is true, then I have a hard time looking at him. But like, yeah, it's not great, man. Talk about how Shakur's a star of the sport and good for the sport. If these allegations are true with Tank, it's horrible for the sport, and we are left out of some really, really good performances, or some good fights, I should say. But yeah, just like take all that away and just talking boxing, like that. This is what makes a Tank Shakur fight really fun, is like the power. Is because one thing I saw last night on social media and talking to some people was like, oh, I still want to see Shakur with a puncher. Like they weren't ready to give Shakur his flowers 100%. Yeah, he looked great, but Zepeda is not really a puncher. Like I need to see him in there with a guy that can actually hit. And it's just typical boxing fan. They're never satisfied. They never fully can give a guy 100% props. There's always a caveat. I want to see him with a puncher as well. But the thing with Tank is he threw 10 punches around some rounds. He could just not move in there. And, and Shakur has shown that he could be busy when he wants to. He could show that he can crack too. Like, who's a harder puncher, Roach or Shakur? I would say Roach by a slight percentage.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think Roach probably a little more explosive. But I don't know. I think Shakur maybe the heavier-handed guy of the two, because like that, and that's when we talk about comparing Shakur and Floyd, I think the difference comes down to physical gifts. I think Floyd's speed is off the charts. Like when you see him live, it's something. it's something different. It doesn't even. But even dude, even walk. I remember seeing him in the gym, watching him walk around the gym. He looked like a panther in a cage. Like, it was crazy. Like I never seen a human move like that. Floyd was a physical anomaly. So I don't see that with Shakur. Granted, he's obviously super talented and physical as well, but Floyd was just something else, man. I mean, IQ, obviously Shakur is up there the same way, but Floyd, especially in those lighter weight classes, man, his physicality was off the charts.
So what's next for Shakur Stevenson? Obviously, I want to see him fight Tank Davis. Don't know if we're ever going to get that fight. Don't know what's going on with Tank outside of the ring. There's guys like Floyd Schofield, who he was scheduled to fight last year before Floyd pulled out of the fight. Floyd Schofield has good pop. Floyd Schofield has good pressure. That's a fun fight.
Yep, young and hungry. I think Shakur should go after all those young guys. I think he should go after all of them. I think Abdullah Mason. I think Floyd Schofield. I think Morataya is a good fight. I'd like all of those fights. And if you can't get the big dog in the weight class that is Tank, go for the other guys. Get everybody else. Because I think I favor Shakur against all of those guys. As good as they all are, they're all young. They're all developing. I think Shakur is better than all of them. I think he beats all of them. Why not just go on a tour and just beat up everybody in the division until there's no one left except for the guy at the top, and then you're banging on the door like, come on, dude, this fight has to happen.
All right, what about Shakur Stevenson versus Lamont Roach, who many believe beat Gervonta Davis last March? That's a fight that they've already been talking about. That's a fight that both of them have talked about on Twitter just today. They welcomed it. Shakur welcomed it. Both want it. Lamont Roach versus Shakur Stevenson. That's a really nice fight.
High-level chess. Love it. I mean, Lamont is probably the only other guy besides Tank that can match Shakur for boxing IQ in terms of matching wits. I'm not saying he's better or he's even, same, but in terms of matching the wits, I think that would be the best chess match we would see. And they'd be a little more active, obviously, than Tank. But yeah, why not? I mean, that's another way for Shakur to force the Tank fight. All right, you can't take this fight. I'll take it. I'll take him. I'm going to beat the guy that people think beat you. So now what? What's up?
They talked about
you can skip the line.
Yeah. They talked about a move to 140 for some reason on the broadcast, which I've never heard Shakur actually say. And I've never heard anyone actually bring that up. I don't know why. He's a smaller guy. I think he should stay at 135 because there are names here. Like, you have Tank, you have Floyd Schofield, who had an unbelievable win over Tevin Farmer. Raymond Morataya is the dark horse in this entire division. He got zero press, but is really good. Abdullah Mason is going to be fighting for a world title next month against Sam Noakes. So he could be in the mix. Abdullah Mason for Shakur Stevenson could happen. So I don't think he'll move to 140. I don't think he'll try to chase some of the bigger names up there. Like, Shakur was never mentioned in that discussion with the four kings, right? It was never Shakur. It was Ryan Garcia, Teofimo, Devin Haney, and Tank. Shakur, for some reason, wasn't in it. And I always felt like that was a reason that Shakur didn't have the same rise as some of the other guys, because he didn't have them mentioning him in interviews constantly. And people putting cameras in Shakur's face, asking about this guy and the other. But now he has a chance to be like the guy in the division, especially if Tank is going to be out for a while. Or you can believe that Shakur is better than Tank out there as well. But, he's definitely the elder statesman here at age 27. Schofield's young, Moratai's young, Abdullah Mason's 20 years old. I mean, these are all really, really good fights, and they're fights, most importantly, that can be made now because of Turkey.
But Dan, all those guys at 40 are not in 40 anymore. All those guys you mentioned are all at 47. They're all moving up. Like, there's really not a place for Shakur or a reason for Shakur to go up to 140. Who are you chasing?
Maybe Teofimo at 140. I'd like to see that fight.
But Teo goes by the beat of his own drum, and he's looking at higher weight classes all the time.
He's not looking at him at all.
He's not talking about anybody at 40 or especially 35. He's definitely not bringing up Shakur. He's talking about guys at 47 and beyond. So I don't know where the mindset is where we're going to talk about Shakur at 40. I don't know what kind of fights
I don't know where that came up. I think it was maybe Lampley just throwing stuff out there. I didn't understand that. But really good win by Shakur. Sky's the limit now. Some really fun fights to be made at 135. A fight at 140 that was also really good. This whole card was excellent. Subriel Matias edges Alberto Puello. I personally thought Puello won. Matias started super strong. I did too. Yeah, Matias started super strong. It was the same Matias that we've seen Terminator style, just eating shots and coming forward. Yeah. Puello ended strong. Puello weathered the storm, showed me a lot in this fight, showed me that he was more than just a boxer. He can brawl if he has to. He's rough. He's very rough. They threw around the same amount of punches. There was a very slight edge in landed shots, especially power. I think they were only separated by 5 power shots. And if he could have went either way. I personally thought Puello edged it out. Matias gets the win. He's now a champ once again. He's going to be fighting Dalton Smith, which came out of absolutely nowhere.
Dude, I hate how they bring the guy in the ring after a fight like that. Bro. Like, it was so close. Rematch. What else are we talking about? That's a rematch fight. I'm the champion, and you edged me in that way. We got to fight again, dude. We got to fight again, especially the way the fight ended. Matias fell apart in the end, and Puello looked really good. He looked like he was a champion finishing the fight in the championship rounds. And then the guy steps in front of you. Oh.
Yeah. I tweeted out today there are 4 fights that I'd rather see than Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. That's the Puello rematch, Teofimo, Gary Antoine Russell, Richardson Hitchens. But we're getting Dalton Smith because this is what Turkey wants. This is the Turkey's doing a lot of good for the sport. This was one of the best cards of the year, and I think they found their rhythm now with these ring cards. And we're going to see some great. November 22nd is going to be awesome, and all that and the above. But this is what you're going to get when you have someone that's calling the shots. Dalton Smith was seated next to Turkey. You could see that on the broadcast. He is a matchroom fighter. He's with Eddie Hearn. Hearn is tight with Turkey. This was a foregone conclusion. If Matias won, I would have liked to see if Puello won if this was going to be the case. He is the WBC mandatory, but that has never meant anything in this sport. Like, a mandatory status means, what does it fucking even mean in boxing? Like, it's nothing. Step around it. David Benavidez was the mandatory for Canelo for 500 years and nothing happened there. But that's what we're going to get. It's not a horrible fight because I think Dalton Smith's really exciting, and Matias could lose any fight to anyone, and he can beat anybody. That's just what Matias is. But it wasn't like, oh, I need to see this next, and it was just awkward in the ring. It wasn't anything I was expecting because I hadn't even fully gotten over what I just watched between 2 really good fighters, and then all of a sudden we're doing a stare down for a fight that not exactly anyone cared to see. I don't know. It was weird.
Not to mention that Matias looked like a completely beaten man at the end of that fight. And then now you got to go stare down this guy that you didn't even expect.
He has a giant gash over his eye.
He was waiting for the decision, and he was just looking in his corner like, oh, man, that was a rough night. This has been a rough fight. I don't think I got it. And then he wins, and he's like, oh, yes. And next thing you know, he's got this big dude.
Did you hear Turkey? He's like, you will fight him. Because I think he misunderstood him or something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I didn't see that. No.
Matias didn't even say no, I don't want to. He just didn't answer at all. And Turkey's no. You will be fighting Dalton Smith, which I found very, very whoa, okay. But then Matias also said hey, you don't want runners, you want exciting fighters. I'm your guy, and I caught that on the microphone.
No, Matias is a badass dude. He fights. He comes in. He's exciting. He gets in there. He gets hit. He's a tank. He comes forward. He bangs. I just thought he got out hustled in that fight.
Dude, Puello is on quite a run right now. I mean, he beat Gary Antoine Russell. That was really impressive. Subriel Matias, and he's doing it in ways I thought this guy was a technical fighter, and
he's scrappy as hell.
Matias brought it out of him, a brawler. To throw the same amount of punches as Matias and to land at the same clip, essentially.
And to take the shots from Matias.
Yes, exactly.
That's impressive too, because Matias was landing throughout the uppercuts. And it's funny because the uppercuts that Matias was landing early in the fight, Puello landed later in the fight. He turned up the uppercuts his own. He was leading that lead uppercut and was banging Matias' head around. I don't know. So a guy like Puello, he is a 12-round fighter. You got to watch everything. You got to watch him for 12 rounds because he's durable. He's scrappy. He's long. Doesn't use his length very well, but he fights a lot when he need. If he has to. And he was forced to fight in that matchup with Matias. I don't know. I think Puello is really good. I was really impressed with the the Russell fight, and then this one was another one, a really impressive fight. Even when he fought Sandor Martin, Sandor Martin's hard to look good against, and it was a very close fight, sure, but I had Puello win that one as well.
Yeah, I will say that Turkey did say Puello will fight the winner of Matias Dalton Smith. But he's just going to have to wait. And
it's a nice consolation prize, I guess.
I just want to see unifications. This division, everyone has one belt. I mean, you have Teofimo, who's the champ, and who knows what he's like got 1 foot out the door of that division. You have Gary Antoine Russell, who's the champ. You have Richardson Hitchens as a champ, and now we have Matias, that's the champ. I mean,
I want to see Matias and Hitchens.
Matias and Hitchens, Matias and Teofimo, Gary Antoine Russell and Matias would be absolute war. Any of these fights, and they could all be made because everything is possible these days. Like the Dalton Smith thing, it just came out of absolute nowhere. Like I know who he is. He's very, very good fighter. He's very exciting. He could very well beat Matias. I just wasn't on the tip of my tongue. There's no one who was like, I can't wait.
He's not entered that room yet. He's not in that room yet. So I agree with you. Yes, domestic level. He stopped a super old Chon Zepeda. And he went over there. He got stopped to the body, but Zepeda hasn't really been a force in quite some time. So Zepeda got beat up and stopped by Prograis, who then got completely dominated by both Haney and then by the British fighter, what's his name? Catterall.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know how he's in the room for this discussion to be immediate fight for the title.
Politics, they still exist in this sport. Even when we're getting all the fights we want to see, we're still seeing.
So if it was Puello, would it all to be Dalton? Would Dalton Smith have been there if it was Puello? Like obviously, right? He was outside. It was either one. I'm assuming.
I mean, if we're learning anything about Turkey, is he likes exciting fighters, and Matias is the more exciting fighter than Puello. He's a little bit more marketable. So I felt like their guy won, essentially, quote unquote, their guy. No, he doesn't have really any affiliation. Matias in Turkey. Yeah, so I don't know. Matias wins, and I don't know. I really don't know because I wasn't really thinking about Dalton Smith at all. Like I saw him have this amazing seat to the fight. And I was like, that's interesting. Like of all people at this event, what's he doing there? And then next thing you know, he's in the ring and doing a stare down. But it's not the worst fight. I've seen much, much worse.
No, not at all. It's not a bad fight at all. It's just out of left field.
Yeah. The first fight of the night, which wasn't a prelim, was David Morrell outlasting Imam Khataev. I thought Khataev won.
He's a badass dude.
This guy looked like a freaking Terminator in there, throwing haymakers at Morrell.
No, he looked like the Thing from Fantastic Four. He's just like this. He's like cut out of stone.
I was waiting for him to gas out because, as we know, when you're that muscular,
I mean, he did a little. Morrell looked really good.
Morrell did take over. Morrell did take over towards the end, or had his moments during the end. I just thought Khataev won enough rounds early and then pulled out a few late. Split decision win for Morrell. Say that again?
He scored the knockdown too.
Who did?
Morrell went down. And
how did I miss that?
5?
I missed that part.
Yeah, he went down. I think it was around 5, around 6, somewhere around there.
Morrell went down. Yeah, whoever had it 96-93 for Morrell with the knockdown.
That means he only gave Khataev 3 rounds.
What the hell?
That's a 97-93 scorecard, 96-93. Yeah.
That's offensive to boxing fans.
I liked the way that Morrell finished. He showed himself to be the championship fighter for sure. I love David Morrell. I think he's awesome. I think he really showed a lot in this fight. Yeah, I mean, Khataev is a badass though, man. Wow.
Bro, he is a tough out. I got to question a little bit of Morrell's team about how they've gone about his last couple of fights. Like the Benavidez fight, I feel like,
how dangerous of a fight can you take
after Benavidez? Like, all right, let's go for this freaking. This guy looks like a machine. Even the Benavidez fight. Even the Benavidez
he took a lot of damage in that fight. Yeah,
but I know that. Even like that fight, I was happy it was made, and like I'm not going to sit here and say don't fight David Benavidez because that's everything against like what we want as fans. But you can even question that with 11 fights. There were some people out there that are like, oh, wait a second, like that's a little too much too soon, and it ended up being too much too soon. It's not like he didn't get outclassed by Benavidez. That's a really tough fight, and he comes back with this one. Mm-hmm. On top of the guy with his whole PED stuff, which, and as I got a better feel for it and understood, like he tested positive or had adverse testing like a few years ago. And then the ITA, which I've never even heard of. Have you heard of the ITA?
No, that's new to me.
What the heck's the ITA? They come on his fight week. dropped this news out, which believe that's some motivation behind all that. I'm not trying to defend this guy, Khataev, but the people out there, they're like, Dan, I can't believe you picked the drug cheat. I'm like, dude, if he was a drug cheat, he would not be in the ring on Saturday night. Like, they're not going to let him do that. He passed multiple VADA tests in the last couple of years, the last couple of weeks leading up to this fight. So that stuff is nonsense. But Khataev outlanded him in the power department, 129 to 97. They both landed 171 punches. Khataev threw more punches. It was a really fun fight. Like this whole card was amazing, and
really good card.
Every fight was one after the next, and I think this is what we're seeing as boxing fans. It's like we're not used to this many like close fights in one night. So
competitive matchups. That's really what it is, and they're living up to it too. We're getting these. So every once in a while these fights don't live up to it, but guess what? That's just boxing. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But now we're getting more of these cards where every fight's good. Like, as a fan, you're exhausted by the end because you're so involved with each one of these fights. You're sitting there moving in your chair like, oh man, oh. You do that for 6 hours straight. You're tired.
It was a long show.
I mean, I'm not complaining. This is great. This is exactly what we want in boxing. But I think so. I got asked last night. One of the random media members grabbed me with their iPhone and like, hey Chris, what do you think about this? A lot of that flashing my eye. I'm blinded, because it's late and it's dark. Chris, what do you think about the state of boxing right now? And I'm like, we're in a great place. We're in a great place right now. We're getting so many fights that couldn't have happened. We're seeing these matchups. We're getting these really deep cards. Yeah, is there a lot of stuff I don't like? Absolutely. Guess what? It's boxing. But at the end of the day, we're getting fights that we want, and they're good. So. Yeah. I mean, we've had bad years. We say it all the time on our show. We've had bad years together. We've had good years together. This is another good year. So
it's definitely more good than bad happening right now.
Yeah,
the bad stuff is like it's you can. I don't even feel like getting into that discussion, but I think the main thing I was trying to get at is like, usually like on a traditional boxing card over the years, there'd be like the main event, and then if you thought that there was a bad decision, we would talk about that. But I thought Khataev beat Morrell. And others thought Morrell won. I thought Puello beat Matias. Others thought Matias won that fight. And we're arguing on Twitter, and we're arguing like there's some fight parties out there. I'm sure everyone was getting into it. There's a very small amount of people that thought Zepeda fight should have been closer. That's what I mean. When you have these close, like on paper, really good matches on paper, and they live out and they're good, I don't think fans are used to having like this much discussion along the lines of, wow, that was like a 50-50 fight. And that happened to be the case on this card, like at least the first two fights.
Are fans getting discussion fatigue because we're getting barbershop fatigue because there's just so many things to discuss?
Well, that's another thing too. Is like, yeah, there are bigger fights happening more often where they're just one after the next. We're forgetting about some of them. It was a really long show. I have one small critique is like this is like a DAZN thing. I've been part of DAZN broadcast. They just do so much fill. We had a 10-minute soccer fill, dude, because they have the FIFA, the World Cup. Not the World Cup. They had some type of event today at MetLife Stadium on DAZN, but not just like a 10-second video saying, "Hey, watch it tomorrow." They brought in two soccer guys. Like they did like a Mannix and Mora segment, standing up, talking 10 minutes about the soccer event, which I was like, "Come on, man!" Like, and it was on like hour 3.5 of the event. So that's just one tiny critique. Just get these fights moving.
I didn't see that because I was calling fights during the time, so I had to watch I watched only the fights all night long, so I didn't see the experience of the entire card. But yeah, that has been an issue for a while now. We're getting these mega events, and there's a lot of them. So
but they were doing better with it, and then they got worse.
Yeah, it's there
was so much talent last night. Last night's talent was you had Grisham, you had Mora,
love me some Todd. And Mora.
Grisham, you had Mora, you had Mannix. You had Wade Plem did like one little hit at the beginning. You had Coppinger. You have Tarver.
Lampley.
Anyone? And Lampley. There was probably more. And Ade Aladipo.
Yep, I heard Ade on there too. Yep.
8 guys.
A lot of talent. A
lot of talent, and they all have to talk. And I thought that they were getting rid of the fills. But it doesn't seem like they are.
Apparently not.
Really good card, though. I have to say, Ring 3 was the best card that this group has put on. I think they've found their footing. I think all the fights on paper were good. I think the crowd was into it. The venue was sick. It helps when the fights are live up to the expectations. Just electric. I thought it was really well done.
Guys, keep bringing fights back to New York, and especially Madison Square Garden. I know Times Square was very cool. Madison Square Garden is its own thing. It has its own life. Madison Square Garden is a different thing. Fighting there, listen, you talk to fighters from the rest of the world, where's your dream fight? Where's your dream venue? They say Madison Square Garden. It's the mecca of boxing for a reason. So keep coming back to Madison Square Garden. Keep coming back to New York, please.
That's where we'll go next to end the show is Katie Taylor outpoints Amanda Serrano from Madison Square Garden. I was there all week as part of my stuff that I do with MVP. Really, I don't know what the heck happened in this fight. They came out both of them came out timid. Taylor's never one to throw a lot of punches. I think she would be fine with that pace. I was really shocked that Serrano and her game plan is that I'm going to come out and throw, at a distance. She looked like she was hitting air. Like she was I feel like she was like a foot off on every punch. She ends up losing a decision. I thought it was a draw at first, but I went back and watched it again. Katie Taylor won that fight. She edged it out. She landed the cleaner, harder shots. They both landed 70 punches, but it was Taylor's shots that were just cleaner and more effective. I just don't understand the Serrano game plan. I thought if she pressured Taylor a little bit in this fight and did what she's done her entire career, it was there for the taking, and she didn't. And she fought right into Katie Taylor's strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. In a boxing match, Katie Taylor's going to win every time. And this turned into a boxing match. And I know that Serrano threw more jabs last fight, and she was much better with the jab. Maybe their idea was, all right, maybe we can outbox this chick. But that wasn't the case. You can't fight Katie like that. She's a gold medalist for a reason. You learn certain things in amateurs, how to win and squeak rounds, especially at that distance. That's how Katie fights. She's not a power puncher. She scores points. That in and out, she throws that boom, boom. She comes over the top. I thought her coaches in the corner were fantastic in terms of how they were being very realistic about where they were. You need this round. Don't pull straight back when you land the right hand. Come back with the left hook or the left jag over the top, which is a really good instruction, which worked. I didn't see the aggression from Serrano that we needed, that we saw in the second fight. And I think maybe a lot of that aggression came from the fact that she was cut and the fight could have been stopped any time. She's like, I need to win. I need to bank every round just in case they stop this fight. True. Again, obviously they went the distance. But this fight, the urgency from Team Serrano was not there. They seemed to be happy with what she was doing. But for me, as I'm watching, I'm like, you're losing this fight. This is not the kind of fight you need. You're the puncher. You hit harder than Katie. You need to get her into a fight. You need to get her into a fist fight. In a boxing match, I think she loses to Katie every time. And apparently in any kind of fight, she loses to Katie every time because now she's 0-3 against her, which is amazing because the fights are so good, but Katie won all three.
There's never been a trilogy where one fighter has won all three fights, and that record has been broken. No. Katie Taylor has won all three fights. There's no, you can debate it all.
And there still might be a fourth.
There still might be a fourth. Once again, if it was on pay-per-view, people would have been upset. The fact that it was on Netflix and part of a really big card makes it a little more tolerable because it was not a really appealing fight. It was very tactical. Like, I was shocked.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
I was in Serrano's locker room Wednesday or Thursday, hanging out with Cindy, Jordan Maldonado, your guy over there, the trainer,
Jose Guzman and Sydney.
The whole team, awesome team.
Yep.
Sydney and Rose. I'm talking to Maldonado, and I'm like, hey man, like, you guys had a lot of success in that second fight when you jabbed. I'm not saying like, he's like, yeah, I know. I was like, you'll see that in this third fight. I didn't think it was going to be that drastic, where their game plan was, let's fight from a distance. Let's almost fight not to get headbutted. I heard that in his corner quite a few times. Do not get close to Katie. She's just going to headbutt you.
They made that a big narrative in the lead up to. Remember the headgear at the press conference thing and headbutts.
But that made her more cautious, in my opinion. She landed 70 punches in the entire fight. Dude, she landed 73 in the last round of the second fight.
That's crazy.
Like, what are we doing?
That's a crazy stat.
What are we doing? I think Katie Taylor was ecstatic with this game plan of Serrano.
Yeah, easy. It was. I don't want to say it was easy because not easy because very tactical, but like in terms of how difficult and damaging the first 2 fights were, and Katie got hurt in both those fights. This fight, yeah, I agree with you. I think Katie was like, whew, got through that one relatively unscathed.
And Taylor was on her game. 39 years old, looks so sharp, fighting off the back foot, just landing really eye-catching shots, and was just on her game. She's a fantastic fighter, fantastic person, being around her all week. Just a winner.
Oh, she's awesome.
She has just has a winner's aura, winner's mentality. Her whole team, they're just class. They're class.
Classy.
Both these ladies are class. It was an awesome night. It was so loud in there. It looked cool. It was something different. It was a trilogy. Not all trilogies are great. I mean, male or female. I think we learned that. Like, sometimes the third fight sucks. How many times have we seen that in trilogies where the third fight is either the worst one or it just didn't live up to it? I didn't think it was going to be like that. I didn't think it was going to be like the second one in terms of blood and guts. Thought it would be somewhere in the middle. But you also have to keep in mind, like, they took a lot out of each other. They're at the end of their careers. I wouldn't be shocked if both retired. And the second fight was gruesome. And it took a lot out of both women. And that plays a role. And that's what we saw on Saturday night. Was a lot more of a tactical, timid fight. But Katie Taylor is 3-0 against Amanda Serrano. I don't know where Serrano goes from here. I've heard that she wants to have a farewell fight in Puerto Rico. And she still has an unbelievable career. They got to keep in mind this was not her weight class. Like, she went up several weight classes to fight Taylor, to make a lot of money, to make a lot of history, to move the sport forward. She's still one of the greatest featherweights, still one of the greatest top 5 female fighters of all time in Serrano. But the record's going to say she's 0-3 against Taylor. And it is what it is.
So her legacy is not necessarily going to be just this fight, because Amanda has done so much. She's been all over the weight classes in terms of being a champion in so many different weight classes, up, down, left, right. She's done it all. But, a big portion, a big chapter of her career is going to be these fights. And she did lose all 3 on paper. But I think at the end of the day, all those dollar bills on the trip to the bank, it's not going to matter as much, man.
Bro, her legacy is
what it is, but she's got a lot of money in the bank, and she's done things, for female sports and female boxing and female sports that
pioneer, man,
are off the charts, 100%. And she can walk around with her head high, and she does, and she will. I'm sure she wanted to get this win because she's competitive, but hey, man, it is what it is, man. I always say you want to be a champion, you want to have epic nights, and you want to have a lot of money in the bank. She did all 3, so
yeah. Alicia Baumgartner won her fight. I thought she didn't look good at all. I thought Miranda could have squeaked that out. Baumgartner was looking for the KO. She looked like she hadn't been in the ring in a while. She looked very rusty. Didn't stop her from calling out Katie Taylor afterwards. That's the thing about women's boxing too. There's not a lot of options. If you're a name,
they'll jump weight classes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're a name, she's also Simon MVP. She's the next in line in terms of star potential. Like, I think her in ring has to improve drastically to meet where she thinks she is as a star. I was not in love with that performance. I actually thought she lost.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that. I didn't. While we were doing that fight, I didn't see that fight the entire route, but I did see that her opponent was doing really well, and she was rough, and she was tough, and she was big, and it looked like Baumgartner couldn't really hurt her because that's a big part of Baumgartner's style. She can punch, I gotta watch that fight.
Can she though? Like, she had the one stoppage over
Terry Harper, but Terry Harper's really good. It's a good knockout.
I feel like since that moment, she's kind of really like fallen in love with that. I don't know. I mean, she got the win, and she will move on to bigger fights. But I think if she told you deep down inside, or Derek James was like, we need to get better. And she's also been out of the ring for a while too. That's the same thing with what's her name, Savannah Marshall, who looked really rusty and lost to Shadeja Green, who was an awesome story. Gotten to know her over the years working with MVP.
She got man.
She got the performance bonus, $250K. She disarmed Savannah Marshall. She, she's like 36 years old. She was a D1 basketball player, really wanted to box. Her mom said, you can only box if you get your degree. She got her degree from Old Dominion. Then she stepped into boxing, started really late. MVP signed her. She lost to Franchon Cruz-Dezurn in a title fight, came back, won a title in her last fight or a previous fight early last year. And it takes on Savannah Marshall, who I thought was rusty, but I'm not trying to take anything away from Shadeja. Shadeja won, and she got the performance bonus. That was a really nice win. Ellie Scottney had a nice win. Shernika Johnson looked really good. It was a fun card. I mean, the women fight really hard. That's the thing, is they you might not get a lot of knockdowns, might not get a lot of knockouts, but they're going to leave it in the ring, and they're going to give it 110%. I mean, I think we saw that on Friday night at MSG.
Hey, Ellie Scottney can really fight.
Bro, she is. I think she's the best of them all.
Yeah, she is like, we're talking like female pound for pound. Like she can really fight. She's not a puncher, obviously. She has no KOs, but she can really fight. And she was fighting Mercado, who's really tough and is a world-class girl who's beaten some really good fighters. Ellie Scottney, man, she in terms of class, she was probably the best on the card, like you said.
Yeah, MVP signed her too, and nice. A couple of guys were asking me like, "Yo, who do you think's like the best out of all these girls?" And I was like, Ellie Scottney, man. Like you said, like doesn't have the knockout power, but technical status, like she can be a top pound for pound list for a while.
And she's so consistent. Everything she's just on it every minute of every round. She's very focused. She looks like she's very system driven. Yeah, she's super impressive. Yeah, she's got Shane McGuigan as her trainer. Very good team they have. It seemed like a very strong team. Very strong team. She beat Shernika Johnson, by the way, a bunch of fights ago. As good as Shernika Johnson looked, Ellie Scottney beat her pretty handily.
Yeah, it was a good night Friday night. It was a good night Saturday night. Boxing was back in New York City. It felt like, it's been forgotten about New York City for a while. I hope the promoters and the organizers of these events can see that New York is one of the greatest fight cities in the world. I hope I'm not biased because I live here. I just think it is. I mean, what other city can pull off these events like this where you have the biggest event in women's sports and women's boxing? I'm at the Oculus doing a live workout while the Ring is doing their thing, putting on sparring events in Brooklyn, putting on their stuff, cool. Doing like all weekend long. And it's a big enough city where you can be at both, or you can know one's going on without the other even knowing that it's going on. So New York played a big role in boxing this weekend. I love that. And I say that as I head out to Las Vegas to meet up with you for a huge week. I haven't even mentally prepared for a Las Vegas fight week. But once I touch down in that beautiful desert land, I will quickly get into fight mode as Manny Pacquiao. Was that even crossed your mind that Manny Pacquiao stepping in the ring Saturday night?
Dan, it's all I've been thinking about for days. I've been working on this for I have so much content that I've produced. You haven't even seen it, Dan. I have produced so much content these past 2 weeks that's going to be coming out. It's going to be rolling out tomorrow. We got so much going on. So yes, I have been thinking quite a bit about Manny Pacquiao. I've been talking about him nonstop for the past 2 weeks. I feel like I'm fighting again. I have been doing so many interviews. It's ridiculous. So
I can't wait to face to face with him. I can't wait till he comes over to our table and we capture it on a camera and you have a stare down.
Hey, I got to get him to stand on the chair again, like you did when we first did our face to face back in 2014.
I can already see the Instagram post. Like we'll have the.
I'm shaving my face so I look like I did when I fought him, because I still look pretty young. So I'm just gonna shave my face so I look like I did back then.
Oh man, it's gonna be an awesome week. Thank you everyone who is going to be following along with us, and we will have a ton of content coming your way. Once again, comment below your favorite Manny Pacquiao win. I will choose one person at random for a free ppv.com PPV. Don't worry, you're giving away a lot more. You're gonna have to follow along on Inside Boxing Live. Follow along on my Twitter.
If you choose me, you're not gonna win. So choose another fight.
Wait, I'm specifically going to pick that one.
No,
anyone that mentions Chris Algieri in the chat is
we gotta
going
do our,
to
we gotta do our favorite wins too. We gotta do our favorite wins too. We didn't.
That's
a
fun segment. We'll do on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll do that after, so people can
top 5 Pacquiao wins on Thursday. I can't wait to do my little mini mic interviews with Pacquiao. I mean, there's so many directions that can go.
And Pacquiao could be pretty funny. He could be pretty quick. So
I see that he's a little more like his English is better. He's a little more willing to engage. I was a little scared because during his career he would always, he wasn't given too many big answers. So we'll see what type of mood he's in when I get him. I think Wednesday we're going to be with him. Yeah, man. It's going to be awesome. Protect yourselves at all times. Keep your hands up at all times. Stay out of those DMs. Vegas, I'm coming for you.